Business, more than quarterly earnings. On the face of it, shareholder value is the dumbest idea in the world. Shareholder value is the result, not a strategy. Your main constituencies are your employees, your customers, and your products. Short-term profits should be allied with an increase in the long-term value of a company. Jack Welch, former CEO, General Electric. A business leader interested in changing the world develops a vision like organizing the world's information and making it universally accessible and useful. She hires people with shared values. Her occupation is storyteller for this business, undergirded by its values, helping create habits of behavior, leading self-sacrificially, making and delivering on commitments, and supporting others as she asks them to do the same. These values end up infused into all the activities of the business, and as a result, into the psyche of the stakeholders. This is the gospel of leadership according to gurus of business. What most gurus don't realize is the outcome isn't longer lasting, more successful firm, but character change in stakeholders that outlasts the firm itself. Colleagues. As owners and managers of the family business, we prioritized our egos and personal financial gain ahead of the team and the institution. We thought we were making decisions in the best interests of others. We turned down a lucrative offer from another construction company because we wanted to keep our team employed. We took on substantial personal financial risk for what we believed was the good of the institution. We were limited by market and non-market dynamics beyond our control and by our flawed decisions. In reality, our pursuit of rapid growth stemmed from fear of missing an unprecedented opportunity, or from ego in wanting to get ours while others were getting theirs. We were no longer basing decisions on a fixed or rational risk-return equation, or on some sense of what was virtuous or in the best interests of those other than ourselves. Our team was a community, both in the joys of a leadership retreat in the Canadian Rockies and the sorrow of cuts in pay to stem cash drain the day before Thanksgiving. In its short 12-year history, Lifestyle Homes and Construction had built an identity around typical business values of efficiency and quality. On top of these, it had layered generosity through care for employees in the community. Where the institution lost its way was in building its identity around the owner's aspirations as opposed to a vision for something beyond itself. Fortunately, its legacy is not in itself, but in those it influenced. Doug started an architectural design business. Jose ventured out on his own as an independent contractor. David pursued his finance and accounting career. Marco has since been part of the startup of 3 other successful entrepreneurial ventures: a low-income home building business in Brazil, a global nonprofit, and a chain of used car dealerships in the US. Dano has been part of a successful social impact business in Africa for the past 7 years. Impact on the character of its stakeholders extended far beyond the life of the business itself. Customers. As business owners who want to change the world, we want to provide products and services that will encourage something more than self-interest in our customers and clients. Our focus on profits makes us want to be uncritical of customer demands because we know customers will pay for what they want, not for what we think they should want. In spite of the flaw in "if you build it, they will come," product developers do have substantial influence on customers' demands. The IBM Simon Personal Communicator launched in 1994 at $1,100 for a touchscreen phone with an address book and fax functionality. Over the last 20 years, customers have demanded something more, but without a master product developer like Steve Jobs helping them understand what they might be able to expect, that demand would remain unrealized and unmet. The product developer and customer have a symbiotic relationship. The developer will be out of business if he makes products for which customers are unwilling to pay. At the same time, the developer can inspire customers to demand products they had never even imagined. Insofar as he has a role in creating the demand, a product developer can't shirk responsibility for the virtues of the product or service by claiming to merely be providing what the customers are demanding. He might argue, "If I don't provide for it, somebody else will," which sounds eerily similar to the rationalization for just about every other good-hearted, illicit business developer. Home building hits closer to home, pun intended, than smartphones. Our company, during the late 1990s and early 2000s, primarily built McMansions ranging from 2,500 to 4,400 square feet on large 1 acre to 5 acre lots. They fit within a zoning regulation defined as rural clusters, where a majority of the development was set aside as open space for the public good. Sites were geographically located 60 minutes from major metropolitan areas and 30 minutes from mid-sized urban areas where most homeowners commuted to work. These communities were socioeconomically homogeneous. They facilitated development of dual-income households. They promoted increased vehicle commute times and all associated detrimental impacts to family and the environment. Neighbors were segregated from each other and certainly from other communities. Contrast this with other projects we undertook, such as high-density planned communities within mid-sized city limits. Those projects counter all the negatives of the rural cluster zone development in return for sacrificing privacy and space. My family lived for 9 years on a postage stamp lot on the corner of an inner-city street in Seattle, where we regularly shared a barbecue and played basketball with the neighborhood gang members. We knew the neighborhood prostitute by name and grieved when she died of AIDS. Friends across the street looked after our kids and shared their tools. When our 4-year-old daughter went to sit at the picnic table occupied by local gang members, she was well supervised. They sat up a little straighter and changed their tone and language. Our family is better for this experience, and so are others in the neighborhood.